Nicely put. So we've already kind of branched off into this, but like that was a good example of like how you monetize the notary business by using other services within it that complement like the notary business. Do you you want to go
Yeah.
into it further? Like, are there other things that you got the fingerprint, and you
Yes.
got the notary? Are there any other
Yeah.
like services you can kind of circle around it to where you do
Absolutely.
this search? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So one of our good revenue streams, what we go call conducting loan closings, or being a closing agent. And it sounds complicated as well, like the apostilles. It sounds like a closing agent. You are basically doing the exact same notary work. You're just printing the papers, bringing the papers to the client, and they are either buying a property, selling a property, refinancing a property, or they have a new built property. It's some kind of real estate transaction. They have to have a notary that does it. The way the notary laws work are that people who have a vested interest in that transaction can't participate in that transaction. So a real estate agency can't use their notary because they have an interest in it. The bank, if they're lending the money, can't use their notary because they have an interest in it, right? If you're getting the commission on this, you might be a notary, but you can't put your seal on that because you have an interest in it. So you have to hire an independent closer. And the way most attorneys and title companies work is they're very busy. And this is like, it's already kind of worked into the paper. Your fee already budgeted for you to go out and do this. So when you go out and you $150, go sign some paperwork, takes 30 minutes maximum amount. It's really complex. Really good money. And your expense was the drive and the papers. That paper's cheap. So that's it. So, but that is another kind of, I guess I would say, niche within the niche would be being a closing agent. Sometimes they call loan signing agent or a notary signing agent. These are all different words. They all mean the same exact thing. And so that is a very good revenue source for us as part of this. Now, because we do other things that I'm going to talk about, I am very choosy with those. I'm very choosy with the loan that I will take. Because so I know how to sift through ones that are going to be quick, easy money and ones that they might be more time consuming. And I've also learned what lenders are easy to work with and what title companies are easy to work with. So I may say no, just like 80-20 rule. Like, I don't know if you read Tim Ferriss or not, how he talks about like, I had to cut some of the dead weight out because it was money, but it was just more time. Right. Yes. Yep. It was like more bother than it's worth. I think he called it Pareto principle or something like that. So we've kind of done that. Like we have a title company that we know it's nothing but a headache to go in there. So anytime they want us, and we also know that nobody else, none of our competitors want to work with them either. So we've got this inside knowledge that nobody wants to go do your loan at your office. So you're going to have to pay me an astronomical fee. And it sounds crazy, but they will. They'll just cough it up because they don't have a choice, but you shot yourself in the foot. But that's just an example of how you'll learn your local market, and you'll learn what's really quick and easy to do, and stack the deck paper pretty quickly by doing that. We have so we've added to our services. We've added, you can be a wedding officiant as a notary in Florida. I think there's about 5 or 6 states you can be a wedding officiant. Even if you're not, if it was a state where you had to be an ordained minister, that's super easy to do too. So that's about as easy as being a notary. But in Florida, I can marry people as a notary. And so I do. And that is good money too. I usually charge a start fee of around $200. And most of them are a half-hour thing. Most of them are shotgun. I'm going to tell you this. Most people think, oh, a wedding, I wouldn't want to stand up in front of people. 200 people do this. Neither would I, but I'll tell you that the majority of them have never happened that way. The majority of them have been like, we just decided we want to get married this week. Will you do it? Yeah, $200. Okay. And that's it. So easy money. And you're just reading vows, and you can literally read them. Like I have a little notebook that I read the vows right off of it. I memorize them at this point, but I still have them there, and I could just looks like you're reading like a scripture or something to them. And it's great. Falls into that notary umbrella really well. Our most lucrative thing that we do is what's called ladybird deeds. And So we own a site called ladybird.net. I got lucky that name was available.
Yeah,
But a Lady
I
Deed
was
is
wondering that. Like, did you have to pay something to get that? Because it sounds like it would have been taken.
It should have been taken. Probably eventually some attorney will offer me more money than enough that I would just be like, all right, it's yours. But eventually some big firm's gonna be like, we want that name, you know? So we'll see. But so ladybirds are, they're just a deed that needs notarization. And it's designed to transfer property from inherit property. So it's designed to set up property inheritance without any interference from the government. And so they are wildly popular in Florida. They might not be, you know, I think there's about 5 different states that they are legal in. So other states may not have that, but they probably have something similar that you could capitalize on. So just because they don't have a ladybird doesn't mean they don't have a transfer on death deed or something that people are just, once they find out about it and they hear about it, or you educate them on it, they're going to be chomping at the bit to get it done, and they'll pay you good money to bring them those papers. So that's it. It's essentially I'm at that point, I'm a high paid secretary, because I'm just typing information onto a piece of paper, giving it to you, witnessing your signature, stamping it, and then charging you $200 for something that took me less than 30 minutes to prepare it. And whether I would work it out with them, whether you want me to come to you and sign this, I'm going to charge you my mobile notary fee, or, you know, there's the upsell, or you can just come right by my home office and we do it here. Either way, it ends up being really good money, really quick, really easy. Not a whole lot of, there's no heavy lifting involved. Unlike the wrestling, there's no heavy lifting. So,
you know, this sounds like very administrative heavy. And one thing about administrative stuff is it sounds more complicated than it is. Like, I'm kind of equating it to, like, when you're at home, you know, let's say you say, I'm going to go change the locks on the door or something, and you're talking to, like, your friend on the phone or something. It sounds like that's a lot, but it only takes like 5 or 10 minutes to actually do.
It's like 2 screws. Yeah. So exactly. It sounds like especially like doing loans, it sounds really intimidating, but if you strip away everything, and that's the most complex thing I do, would be doing a loan closing. So the other stuff, it is not complex at all. It's very simple. But if you were to take the essence of doing a real estate closing, you are just getting people's signatures on paper. So just sign here, and it goes smoother and faster the more familiar you are with those documents and what they entail. But that's not a requirement of the job. So if somebody was to ask you, you could be like, I don't know, ask your realtor, ask your lender. I don't know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you whether this is a smart move or not. I'm here to say you did in fact sign this paper. It goes, the better you are at knowing those, the faster you're in and out, because you instill confidence in people and you get them to move through it. So it's in your best interest as a business owner to make that transaction as smooth and as quick as possible and as professional as possible. Because if you come across that way, as you know, like I said, very warm and very knowledgeable, you instill confidence, and then it becomes really easy for you to drop your card on them and say, oh, by the way, I do all this other stuff. And so that's why. But no, it sounds worse than it is. It's a super simple business model. At the beginning phase of it, the starting a mobile notary would be really hard to mess it up. If you can create a Google listing and get a notary commission, you're in business. I mean, that's the start. That's where you start right there. Cool. And you can do that. You can do that at any time of the day. You can do, if you don't want to do the weekends, don't do the weekends. If you want to do nights, do nights. I think about 30 states you can do this online, Florida being one of them. So you could be a remote online notary, meaning that you don't ever have to leave your house. You can just beam somebody up and then click their documents on the computer. So if you DocuSign stuff, for most of us have, you can do remote online, or you could be a remote online notary. It's just like our thing here, just in the sidebar there being a piece of paper that we have to click on. It's not that complicated, and it still pays good. So
got you. So
you
like
see how the notary umbrella starts. It's a big umbrella. It's pretty big umbrella.
It literally is an umbrella, as opposed to just being like this one thing that most people just kind of picture What's up, everyone? What you just watched was a clip from one of the episodes of the Side Hustler Society podcast. So if you're interested in this clip, I encourage you to check out the full episode linked in the description and also on the end screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when the show comes out. And thumbs up on the video greatly helps. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video.